Why, hello there, children. Hello there, children. It's been a long time since you've seen me, but let me tell you, I'm tired. So, without further ado, let me get into this video. So, it was supposed to be about with me and your favorite Uncle Charles, but unfortunately he ran off, screaming into the dead of the night, saying something about he hadn't paid his taxes since the abolitionist movement, and the IRS was going to come and get him for some type of scheme involving Cincinnati and Alabama in final tournaments. I too am confused on what he really meant. But he did agree before he left that he would help me with a half of this series of videos. And this is going to be a two-part series, and all we're really doing is we're going to be breaking down what we think are the top hits for 2022 animes. So, because this is an extensive list, I'm going to start backwards and make my way forwards, just for reasons. So, that being said, the first on this list is a movie for Slam Dunk. So, Slam Dunk, for those of you who do not know, is a sports anime, and was actually really interested in this one because I haven't seen a sports anime in very long time. I just recently started watching Ahiru no Sora, the 2019 version, and the last time before that I saw an anime was probably early 2000s. We're talking about when Prince of Tennis, Eyeshield 21, and so Prince of Tennis, Eyeshield 21, and Hikaru no Go were still airing on Cartoon Network and Toonami, respectively. So, it's been a while. But, so, now granted, I have heard that there's been a lot of buzz about ones in recent years, like Haikyuu and stuff like that. But like I said, I haven't been following them. So, for me, going back to something old school is not bad. Plus, it's actually a sport that I'm really interested in too. I mean, who don't like some basketball every once in a while? So, but for those of you not know, Slam Dunk is a classic one coming out in the manga, running from 1990 to 1996, having a 2008 adaptation. Not having seen it before, I can't really tell you where the story's going to be at. Maybe some veteran fans who've seen it might know, but I'm still excited for it. So, next up on the list is Strike the Blood, the final part. Now, me and Strike the Blood have a bit of antagonistic history. Unfortunately, while I like the series, certain subplots, let's just call it what it is, lots and lots of ecchi, have made it, I wouldn't say unwatchable, but have made it hard to watch. So, that being the case, I'm still am actually curious on where I actually just saw the last part, not the final part, but the series before. I think will be the fifth series, if I am correct, and the I'm interested to know where and what's going to take place, especially seeing as a brief spoiler that Itogami Island, the main center stage of where the action of the series takes place, is basically a rest. It's not completely destroyed, but it's certain parts of it is being ruined, and it's occupied by other forces. That's as much as I'll say. Moving on, and here we go with another series that I'm sort of have an antagonistic relationship with, and I want to take this brief moment to make an aside and say that I might possibly just murder my uncle. When devising this list, we played rock paper scissors for it, and I am pretty sure he got some of the better choices off here, like Strike the Blood and and Ikitosen, which is the next one I was just about to talk about. I got these. So trust me, some of these may come off as weird and not my taste. They really aren't. My uncle got this and he won, and I'm quite upset, and I know he's probably laughing somewhere from his bunker, his secret bunker, which I know not. But that aside, once again, Ikitosen. Ikitosen. Ikitosen falls into the same category as Strike the Blood. It has certain etchy parts that just made it unwatchable. Whereas Strike the Blood, had was quirky, cute in some ways, and funny in a lot of ways. I feel like Ikitosen would have been more my speed because Strike the Blood is more supernatural and more shonenish as far as power ups. Ikitosen is actually more just martial arts. People just throwing hands, and I would have liked to have seen that, but like I said, the etchy subplots just sort of killed it for me. So if anybody does watch it, it's probably, if between me and Uncle Charles, it's probably gonna be Charles who watches this. And I'm not actually quite sure. And like I said, this was a very last minute thing. We just threw this together like minutes after we saw this list, and this was like a month ago. But like I said, things get in the way, and life is a journey that has loops and hoops and barrels in the way. Old Donkey Kong reference. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what to make of the Shiki Ikitosen. I believe it might be a movie, just like Slam Dunk. So that's as much as I can say on that one. The next up on this list is the Executioner's way, the Executioner and her way of life. Now, this one was an interesting one because it wasn't exactly on my radar, but while scrolling through Reddit a while ago, a certain Reddit, which I promise you I was not there for any type of academic purposes, I can greatly assure you this, I ran into it on a certain Reddit, and on a certain subreddit, and it was mentioned. And this was way before they started announcing what we were going to have for this year's anime. But I found myself interested on it, so I figured I'd get the synopsis. So let me see if I can read it here. The lost ones are wanderers who come from the distant world known as Japan. No one knows how or why they leave their homes. The only thing that is certain is that they bring disaster and calamity. The duty of exterminating them without remorse falls to Minnow, a young executioner. When she meets Akari, it seems like just another job, until she discovers it's impossible to kill this girl. And when Minnow begins to search for a way to defeat their immortality, Akari is more than happy to tag along. So begins a journey that will change Minnow forever. So, while I'm sort of curious about this one, I mean, the poster has just two girls on it, and the title. Outside of that, I don't, and the quick synopsis I just gave you, I don't know much about it. I'm sort of curious though whether it's going to be very deep in its own plot, like Ajin, or I forgot what the English translation to Ajin was, but it's pretty fairly well-known animation. So if it's going to explore immortality as affecting the society, or will it just be a one-off sort of thing? Curious to know. We'll find out. I believe, and like I should have mentioned this earlier, but not everything I have on here has an exact date. Some of this stuff is just tentative, or some stuff I couldn't find a date at all. I believe this one is coming April 1st, so we will not have to wait very long. So, next up on the list, happens to be, excuse me, Ahara, excuse me, I apologize in advance if I butcher a lot of these titles. Excuse me. Aharen San Hakarenai. As far as my notes for this, I just took some basic ones and just said that this is a rom-com. Looks like it's going to be about a girl who basically has is very socially awkward and does not pick up, and she's sort of touchy-feely and has no awareness of people's sense of space. And so our male protagonist is basically like her opposite, doesn't like to be touched and this, that, or the other, but there's going to be a relationship that blossoms from this somehow. Once again, well, as much as Uncle Charles gave me a whole bunch of strange looks when I put this one down, because we didn't rock or papers. Well, we rock paper scissors for a lot of it, but some of it we each just decided that we might take, and this one I actually took because I was curious about it, because I like to consider myself well-rounded when it comes to different genres. So I try and read as much in different genres of manga, books, movies, whatever. But when it comes to manga, I do have some stuff that I fall into that I like, and but I have been trying to branch out and differentiate myself, and one of those categories is the romance category. At my list of stuff that I've completed, barely any real romance, or where romance was the focus of those type of manga. Those are not a lot that I have in my completed list. So that being said, I decided that I'd take this one. Also, I just started another one called Asperger no Kanojo, which I believe could fall into the romance category, because Kanojo being in the title is girlfriend, but it's interesting because the main character is an author. The main male protagonist is an author, and he sort of gets into a relationship taking care of a girl who has Asperger's syndrome, but yet along the way, I guess a romantic relationship sort of buds out of that, and it was pretty interesting, the first few chapters that I've been reading. So I wonder how deep this one will go, or if it'll just be another one-off, cutesy type anime. Also, do keep in mind that this isn't everything. Believe it or not, there's a whole bunch more to come this year. But me and Uncle Charles just decided to pick what we thought would be some interesting picks to see how y'all guys felt about it. Next up on the list, Uzaki 2, or Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. This one's already an established one, so I mean, there's not much that I haven't seen it myself personally, but I do plan to see it at some point. So, with that said, moving on. Next. Now, this one actually takes me for a spin, and I'm actually sort of glad that Uncle Charles didn't scoop this one up, because, believe it or not, I actually just saw the first part of this. So this next one up is Black Rock Shooter Downfall. So apparently it's a movie, so I'm assuming, based off the synopsis, that it is not set in the same universe as the Black Rock Shooter series, which I actually just finished not too long ago, I think about a month or two back, and I actually have, I'm going to be making a video on that and a few other things, but like I said, life is a journey with loops and twists and barrels. So, that'll be coming at some point. But, let me just read the synopsis for you guys, bring it up here. It is the year 2062, 2 decades after the failure of massive workforce automation project. However, Artemis, the artificial intelligence at the core of the project, has decided to attack humanity, and resulting war laid waste to Earth. So it seems honestly like maybe like for those of you who are avid readers of sci-fi, it seems sort of like a second variety, which once for those of you who aren't readers, a lot of the second variety is the book that the Terminator series is loosely based off of, with killer robots basically attacking and destroying the last vestiges of humanity. So, which seems odd to me, especially, well, it's odd and not odd. It's odd in that they would just decide to go with that type of plot, considering the whole, I'll say the whole plot behind BlackRock itself. It's a bit of a mystery. Towards the end of it, it all pulls together and you sort of understand what's going on. There are parts in the animation where it's like you're not quite sure what's going on, but there are some parts that would suggest it's mecha-like, but that's not exactly the case. I'm trying not to spoil it. But so yeah, it's weird. So it's weird and not weird in that regard. Although I think it's mainly just weird that I don't have a lot of information on it, but I'm wondering if some of the same cast are going to be a part of it, or if it's just going to be like a divergent thing, sort of, because BlackRock Shooter is based off of Vocaloid, which is a series of it's hard to explain Vocaloid, and that's a whole nother video in and of itself. But I believe it's just basically like Japanese animation meets video. So not exact meets fan created songs and stuff like that. And so it's based off of one type of Vocaloid route. So theoretically they could go on a different route and it be its own thing. A good example would be Kagero Days or Mekakusudi Actors, for those of you who've seen the anime, or another series based off of a Vocaloid song or a series of songs, I should say, that eventually have their own different paths, like the manga and the anime. So that's my take on that one. Next up, we have Tokyo 24th Ward. Now, I'm just gonna say that this one seems like whatever to me, but let's give it a try, see what we feel. An artificial island in Tokyo Bay, Kyokyo Hogure Tokubusu Chiku, 4 early special district. Blah blah blah. Oops, sorry about this, guys. Childhood friends Ran, Koki, and Shuta, who were born and raised here, have different families. Blah blah blah. Always hung out together. However, their relationship drastically changed in the wake of a certain event. Years later, I already pre-read this, and apparently it says that a few years later, their phones go off, and all their phones go off simultaneously at this island, and now they're racing against time to try and figure out what's going on. I think that this one's just gonna be very me and Charles both coin flip for this one because neither of us really wanted it. However, the saving grace behind this one is that it's made by Cloverworks. Just from the the artwork based off the cover, I still think it's gonna be but uh like I said, the studio behind it is Cloverworks, who's made Persona 5, loved it. Bunny Girl Senpai, definitely loved it. And The Promised Neverland and a few other works, which my mind has blanked out at the moment. But I'm semi hopeful for this one. Semi hopeful, Fingers crossed. So that's Tokyo 24th Ward. Um, Call of the Night. I said that this one was a rom com. Uncle Charles looked at me like I was crazy and just said that he was not taking this one. So this was all on me. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. Can I move it? Nope. Look like I can't move it in a way to read it. So basically, from what I got from the synopsis, our main character, whose name is blank at the moment, is an insomniac. So he's basically lethargic because he can't get any sleep, and he's wondering what is the cause of his lethargy. And so he's wandering around at night. Weird habit, but hey, strange flex, but okay. So he's wandering around, and apparently this girl, as seen in the cover art, says to him that basically the cause of his lethargy or his insomnia, I should say, is the fact that he's not truly utilizing his full potential towards something, or not embracing, or I shouldn't say utilizing his potential, but he's not having fun with anything. So basically, he can't calm down and just relax. And so after telling him that, she invites him over to his place. And so during this, he actually lays down at old girl's apartment. Pause. Let me just straight up say pause right there. Yeah, that's gonna be a no. You don't be going to strangers' places and just laying down, or better yet, like the old folks used to say, at least buy me dinner first, please. No. Anyway, quick aside over. During the process of laying down, apparently while he's falling asleep, she's still up, and she done bit this man. And that's where the synopsis ends. So I don't know. So I'm confused on this one, and I'm starting to regret choosing it because I don't want it to be turned into something kinky, like let's say Killing Bites. But and believe it or not, that was not a pun. But I do believe that this might be, maybe there might be some vampireness to this anime. I'm sort of curious to see where it goes. It's weird, but I'll stick with it. Let's see. Call of the Night just did it. Those are Uncle Charles's. Alright, the next few up on this list are mainly established ones, like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? Excuse me. I think I managed to get into the second season of it, so I got somewhere into the second season. Maybe it was at the start and maybe I stopped. I do remember that it actually wasn't bad, but it was not one for my taste, even though I am a fantasy and magical type guy. I like those, but I don't know. Maybe I should rewatch it and give it a second try and see how things go from there. Next up is Rent-A-Girlfriend 2. Have not seen the original, the first part, so I cannot comment either way. But we'll keep an eye on it. Bofuri. This one is that's basically the shorthand of it. The real title is I'm Afraid of Getting Hurt, so I maxed maxed out my defense. I actually saw this one, and I'm not even really a gamer per se, but I found this one just straight up absolutely hilarious. And so for that exact reason, I gotta say, I got to, because she is just one of the most broken, overpowered characters in the game. And the sad part is, it's not even so much skill. It's sort of like SAO, but because it takes place in a video game. But the difference between it is, mainly that she's not the main character, Maple. That's her online game name. Is not perhaps skilled in it. Her friend is more skilled than her, but because of the way she made her build, and she actually literally broke the game system to a point where the game moderators are trying to legit nerf her. And even still, she finds all these creative ways to make herself more and more broken. And it is amazing. So I won't spoil it for people who've seen it, seen the first season, and I'd highly suggest watching it. Moving on, Fruits Basket Prelude. So Fruits Basket's been around a long time, apparently, from what I've heard. I had not heard about it till recently, honestly. So I had actually bought in Fruits Basket one of the seasons. I think it was the 2019 version. Not too long ago, a year. We're in 2022, so probably about 3 years ago or something, whenever it came out. And now, ironically, I just even before this list was populated, I decided to start watching it. It's pretty interesting. If you like Zodiac type anime, similar to Juni Taisen or the Zodiac Wars, another one which I've seen and I will do a video on at some point. This one's probably for you. This one's different. Stupid ads. Sorry about that. This one's different, however, because unlike Juni Taisen, this isn't a video, an anime about fighting. It's more actually a romantic comedy, but it's actually pretty heartfelt, and the characters are all pretty hilarious, and some of them are absolute scumbags. So if any of you want to see a breakdown on that, I'll be making that pretty soon. So I'm going to assume, so the 2019 version that I got, I think, is the first season. So I'm assuming there's at least 2, and this is going to be the finale, possibly. Maybe my English is bad and it's actually the prequel. We will see. Let's see. Tanya the Evil Season 2. Now, like I said, Tanya the Evil I actually saw. Been a very, very long time since I've seen it. But I do remember our Lord and Savior Tanya Dugachev, and our favorite isekai grandpa in the body of a lolly. But I don't have high hopes for it, but I don't hate it either. So I'm just sort of neutral. Just like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time, and I sort of think I should rewatch it to familiarize myself again with it. But still, from what I remember, it was still pretty hilarious having Tanya be this grown man in the body of this lolly, hating mysterious being X, aka God, and just generally being a psychopath, and I was like, oh goodness. Alrighty. Last and finally up on this list, we have another new one. So, the final one on this list is called Love of Kill. So I'll just go ahead with the synopsis here. During one of her bounty hunter missions, Chateau Dankworth comes across Sung Riang Ha, a professional hitman who begins stalking and brokering her information in exchange for a date. Though reluctant, Chateau complies, yet refuses to open up to him. Pause. So, immediately the first thing that strikes me, old girl's first name is Chateau, and my French lessons were worse than my English lessons, but I think that means something. I think that's like a vineyard or a venue or something of that nature. Maybe it might even be a balcony if I'm not wrong. But I mean, just the fact that she's got like a Frenchish sounding name or a semi-Western type of name is interesting. But we need to talk about her last name. Why is her last name Dankworth? I feel like they actually knew what they were doing, but that also could just be one of them random sleeper memes that just pops up out of nowhere that just like, why is this a thing? But I expect to see a lot of dabbing and weed emojis and memes made after this anime hits. So I don't know, it's another romance one, or so it seems. I'm hoping, my only hope and expectation for this one is that it's going to be that we're gonna have some action in it here. Well, kids, with that being said, that is my highlights for this parts of this video, the 2022 anime pick hits, with me, your favorite nephew. I might have said earlier in this video, but your Uncle Charles will be doing the second half in a later video, but I wanted to just make sure that this one got done because we're sort of behind on schedule of a whole bunch of videos that should have been done, but keep getting pushed back because of reasons. So, with that said, signing off. Peace, kids.